Okay everyone, so for my first video, I want to talk about what it's like being a performing artist during a pandemic. Specifically in my case in a big city, but just in general. Also, I'm starting with this topic because it's very relevant to me right now as the Omicron cases have been, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, have been skyrocketing in New York City in particular, and I've experienced recently a show cancellation, teaching cancellations, show postponements, all of that in the past few weeks, from Philadelphia to New York, and it's a little scary. It's a little unknown right now, and I base my income solely off of performing and teaching. Also, I'm not gonna do cuts because New York is loud and there might be a plane, a siren, or a dog, or someone singing, who knows. So, sorry about that. So I will backtrack to just the most recent experiences and then talk about the future. So, recently, I was doing a show in Philly, in Pennsylvania. I was playing Hermia in a production of Midsummer Night's Dream, or Midwinter, we would call it. And it was super fun. It was interactive, immersive theater production, and then we had to postpone, and it was in part because of the safety of the cast, and as cases were going up, and we're hopefully gonna remount the show at the end of this month. It's January 2nd today, and if not this month, maybe next month. You know, fingers crossed that we can finish the run, because we put a lot of work and a lot of hours into it. Thankfully, the performances we did do, there were no cases of COVID being spread throughout the shows or anything. I was lucky that the cast, we were all, that I know of, vaccinated. A lot of us were boosted. Many of us would test regularly, or, no one was gonna go into work sick. So we definitely made the right call, I feel, by postponing the show as cases were going up, and there's more details to it, but that's what I'll leave it at for now. Then I was supposed to have a show today that got canceled from COVID cases, a Bollywood show, and teaching this week was canceled for after school. I was subbing at in Jersey because the school is going remote, which is also a good idea. Clients during the holiday seasons and with the virus have been slow in regards to some of the classes I teach at a studio. So anyways, I'm not trying to talk business about any names or anything, but the point being said is a lot of these things are out of the control of my directors, choreographers, studio owners. These are not things on their end where it's a lack from them or their business. It's truly just the situation we're in right now during COVID. So it's been a whirlwind going into a new year and having less job security than I anticipated. So what do? I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and see what happens. But of course I'm gonna find other ways to be resourceful and to keep going. But yeah, I'm sharing this because I've been there and done that when it comes to doing the side hustles, the odd jobs. I've worked in, I've been a receptionist for fitness. I've taught fitness classes. I had a personal trainer cert. I had a Zumba license at one point, but I didn't use it. I've worked in mild barista, mild bartending, wait staff, mild, I've tasted all those things, the catering, staffing. I've done extra work. I've babysat. You name it, a receptionist work, I think I already said. You name it, I've probably tried those at some point in my attempt for side hustles to support myself when I was still teaching and performing. But you know, the city is one of the most expensive cities in the world, and I saw like a Instagram post where they said, "Me wakes up New York City, that'll be $35, please." And it's so real. Like this morning, my cell phone bill went to auto pay for like $40, and I thought of that post. I was like, wow, that's real, because pretty much just to get around here and to keep up my field, I have to spend money, because you have to train, you need the right materials. It's a lot. It is a lot, and I'm gonna make a separate video about burnout, in particular, when it comes to working in this field, because this year has been hitting me more than usual as far as feeling like something's gonna change, because I've been doing this consistently for 5.5 years. I've never stopped, I've never quit, I've never taken real breaks. Even when I went away to try to escape the city and do things, I was probably preparing. When I'd be on the break, I would either be carving out new opportunities where I was, or I'd be preparing for the work I had when I came back. In part, it's because I love to work, and I'm a hard worker, and I like to be busy. I'm a bit of a busybody. But the other part is because I have to. I have to keep working if I want to stay here. And I think it's hit me harder this year because in the summertime, I got my own apartment, and it's been a big shift going from having roommates since I was in college for many years, and yeah, just many years of having roommates and having shared expenses with other people, to being fully responsible on my own, especially during the pandemic, where streams of income have constantly changed. So that's been a journey, but I'm still here. I'm still out here. I'm figuring it out. And I'm gonna also be honest with you that I didn't want to wait to make this video till it was a day where I was in better spirits, or where I could be bubbly and I could put on a facade and be chipper and positive, because I am a positive person and I know how to bring that out and to try to be more encouraging, and I will keep this somewhat positive. But part of what I want to do on this channel is to just get real about things, like to talk about the struggles. Of course, I'll have my boundaries where I'm not going to go into specific details of everything, but what I will share, and it's a little scary to me because I know friends and family are going to watch this, you know? So that's a little scary to be like, hey guys, you know, I'm going to be more honest with you about what it's like for me. I don't hide it from people close to me, but it's been really hard to to support myself here in the past several months, and to try to be independent. And I knew I was emotional today. Okay, I've been a little hormonal, but I think I'll still post this. Yeah, it's as someone who likes to work hard and who likes to be busy and to have things going and rolling at all times, and who likes to be in control and have things figured out. I take a lot of pride in being on top of it and being a motivated person. But when things aren't, when it feels that you work until, and it's not paying off in the ways that you need it to in a tangible, practical way, it can be discouraging, and it can make you feel like you're losing motivation. So I know I said this video, I realize I'm veering off topic again, but I know that I said this video was going to be about performing during this time, so I'll go back to it. So that being said, as someone who like tries to make my income off of this, off of the dream, right? It's a little scary right now because there's things happening, auditions coming up. I know there's a lot of self-tapes, but like for me personally, I'm thinking, okay, do I take what's right in front of me and hope that in a few months this wave will be over? I'm sure this wave will be over. It might be over quickly, actually, based off of the news I've been hearing and seeing as I track this variant. But if we've learned anything of this pandemic, it's unpredictable. And there's a lot of things out of your control. Even if you get vaccinated and boosted and test, like if you're living in New York City, it's gonna be very challenging not to get COVID at some point because you're in congested train cars with people. You're around people. If you don't have a remote work from home job, you're around other people, and some people are cautious and some people aren't. And so I am sharing all this to say that there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to keeping my income from performing and also being in spaces where I'm performing. Like I took a New Year's Eve gig. Why? I wanted to be with my boyfriend who was performing too on New Year's Eve. I wanted to perform, and mostly number one is I needed to work. And that being said, I was scared because I thought, am I being irresponsible during this surge by having to take the show, by not being in mask when I'm performing, by being around other people? And so the factors I could control, as far as, I hate that I keep using that word, as far as being diligent and thinking, okay, when I rehearse, let me wear my mask, let me sanitize, let me distance from the crowd. And the people I was around, I knew were, most of them, as far as I know, you know, COVID conscious and safe. Such an interesting term to use. So, you know, I'm trying my best. And that's all to say, I was going to try to make this video 10 minutes, but we're just going to go there. Maybe someone will watch to the end. It's all to say that it's challenging right now to be in a space, in a field where some spaces are not unionized, they're not having to follow rules, right? If you're freelancing or doing gig work. So I've noticed doing gig work, I have to be okay with either having to ask more questions, say no if I don't feel comfortable, or to do it and know I'm taking somewhat of risk for exposing myself or others. When I've been doing company work, it's usually feels pretty secure, like everyone I work for is responsible and tries to be mindful of this pandemic and the talent. So I really like working more in company settings. When I do like things to do with film or TV, just as far as like recently doing like extra work or something the past few months, I find they do take a lot of precautions, and I really appreciate that. So that being said, it feels scary, like, to be performing right now with the surges, with seeing shows that got shut down. Like I know the Muni had their production of Chicago shut down early, and that was like, I want to say it was in September or August because of a case. And that's it's happening, and no one needs to necessarily point fingers at other people just because someone got COVID, because so many people are being cautious. Like in shows like that, you're all having to test. I mean, I followed it heavily, but you know, they're having to test consistently and take precautions, and someone could still get it. So I think we all need to show each other grace and empathy right now. Also going further into what it's like, I would say teaching for the most part has felt pretty safe. Most places I'm around, I get to follow precautions, and most people take the precautions. Occasionally here and there, I didn't have get to decide those things about masks and whatnot. So there was been a few times where I felt a little unsafe teaching and I needed the work, and I did it anyways, and I distanced myself or wore my mask even if other people didn't. One other thing I've been experiencing is, as someone who can't really afford to get sick often because I will lose income I really need, I have to refrain from some things I really want to do, which is social dancing. I used to love social dancing. I would go social dancing. I got to perform at socials. I got to assist at a few socials for dance classes. I love it so much. And it's hard because I really miss partnering more, and I miss being around it. And this is a personal choice because I could go and be exposed to people and potentially get COVID or not get COVID or spread it or whatever. And, you know, with vaccination, a lot of people have moved back into it. Some people, it's their living, you know, and they need to be there. And for me, it's something I've been waiting out because at this point, I just don't really feel comfortable or like trust a lot of strangers who are out and about, and there's a lot of contact. There's a lot of contact between person to person in these cases. So for me, I haven't felt safe really going back to that world. But I hope I could go back like in the near future. I am vaccinated and boosted, and I know a lot of people in my city are. And I know some socials, it's only for vaccinated people. And to some of you watching, maybe it seems like I'm like a super paranoid, like germaphobe freak or something. But it's really the reality of wanting to be responsible for the people around me and know that like there's some people around me that I don't want to get them sick because it could put them out of work that they really need. And maybe that's a pressure I don't need to put on myself. But it's really just that reality for me that I'm just really trying not to get sick so I don't lose work that I need. Mind you, you know, in life you have to take some risks, and sometimes like I know there's a lot of people out there doing those things and they're not necessarily getting COVID left and right. I know right now there's a lot of surges, so I think now is the time to be a little bit more cautious. Maybe a few months ago, not as much. So anyways, I'll wrap it up. It was a very long video. That was like I will try to get more topical and concise, but I did want to just kind of like take these videos and just go like, blah, here it is. This is a conversation. So I encourage you, if you watched to the end or you skimmed it, I would love to hear your comments if you're another performer, what it's been like for you, what you're going through as you're having to navigate the industry during this time. So thanks for watching, and happy New Year.